Donald Trump sees the Constitution the way he sees other human beings. He sees it as just an instrument for his use and convenience when it serves his ends. The real danger of what Trump is doing with rhetoric that is so extreme as to be calling for the termination of the Constitution or a redo on the 2020 election is that as he goes to further and further extremes, other individuals out there who are actually extreme start to look moderate by comparison. There's a phrase politically called the Overton Window, and the idea is that if President Trump can shift the discourse so far beyond the boundaries of what we used to consider normal, rational thought, that other extremists will be able to step in and appear to be less extreme, more moderate, when in fact their policies, by any pre-Donald Trump metric, would have been measured as extreme in American politics. The danger here is that we are losing touch with reality and facts to the point where we don't really have any idea what moderate, rational statesmanship and stateswomanship is in America right now. The fanning of the flames with regard to questioning the legitimacy of results, even when the facts don't support the questioning, is an undermining of our national core identity. It's an undermining of our faith in our country. It's an undermining of our faith in the process. And it's an undermining of everything that we purport to be when we try and describe ourselves to the rest of the world. The Constitution is both sacred and flawed. It is not a perfect document. It was not drafted by perfect men. Many of those men owned other human beings. The flaws in our founders are as much a part of an honest assessment of Americana as apple pie. The Constitution, however, is a living document in the sense both that its meaning can change over time as context and society develop, and the Constitution can change through formal processes of amending the Constitution. Reasonable people of different political persuasions can and do disagree about interpreting the Constitution within a set of parameters. But no reasonable person would argue that the Constitution can simply be terminated because a grown child didn't get what he wanted. The silence of the Republican Party has been deafening. There are a few isolated individuals in the Republican Party who've spoken up, but where is Kevin McCarthy? Where is Mitch McConnell? Does Jim Jordan have any principles whatsoever? Where's Ted Cruz? This is a party that has wrapped itself in the American flag over and over again. This is a party that constantly talks with a near religious reverence for the very flawed founding fathers. I was one of many, I confess, who thought in the aftermath of January 6th that Donald Trump was over, politically speaking, that the moderates in the Republican Party would stand up to him, would stand up for the rule of law, and would value country over party. A few of them did, and they suffered the consequences because So few of them did, we are now suffering the consequences. In a sense, we're suffering the consequences of Donald Trump getting away with the litany of things that he's gotten away with, consequence free, whether it's Russian election interference, whether it's having Ukraine do a domestic political errand at his request and jeopardizing the security of a significant ally, whether it's the emoluments clause or the documents at Mar-a-Lago or January 6th, and now calling for termination of the Constitution, or simple things like tax fraud. The idea that there have been no meaningful consequences imposed on this individual is basically rolling the red carpet out for future transgressions.